everyone. You are watching the Real Nelson podcast, where we talk everything family, fitness, and relationship.
What is relationships? Relationships are relationships that turn into relationships are friendships that turn into relationships, much like our marriage.
Yes, sir. So funny to me. Okay, so
before we go any further,
because this is about to get hot.
Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and hit that notification button.
That part.
And please comment. We're gonna have questions for you
y'all
all.
Gonna wanna comment.
Please.
Oh, y'all gonna want to comment.
Leave some comments. Let's have some dialogue
already
about this. Let's take this on further. All right. So I'm gonna start off with a quote from
what is this about? Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, what we about to talk about, we got to say, at least before you drop your
All right, go ahead. All right, so look. On the Pivot.
Exactly, the Pivot, the podcast.
On the Pivot podcast, which is a very dope podcast.
Crazy.
They had two special guests, Simone Biles and her husband, Jonathan Owens.
Really just one special guest.
One
Jonathan
special
Owens.
guest, right.
And
Jonathan
his boo thing
Owens,
came,
right?
Simone Biles.
His wife accompanied him.
Yep.
Right? And so, this is our first podcast where we're actually, talking about a hot topic.
Yes,
right?
We had to. We've been talking about this for 11 days. 11 days. We couldn't let it go. It's just too much. Our household has been look, we just had Zoe's birthday. She turned one. That was Christmas Eve, Christmas. Every time we saw somebody, this is something we talked about. So we was like, yo, let's just go ahead and bring it here so that we can talk with y'all about it.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal because their origin story kind of mirrors ours and how we first started.
Agreed.
And so we're going to start off with this quote that I gathered towards the end of the podcast, but it said, they basically said this. It was Ryan that said this, right? He said, there's no limit on how much people feel like they're entitled to or ask for.
And he's talking to them. Feel like they're entitled to towards Simone Biles and her husband, Jonathan Owens, or will ask them for. And y'all lived up to that. I'm not going to say y'all people lived up to that.
But the people.
The people. And for me, so then we talk about how it's really bothersome that the world does take these sound bites, because really it was, like I said, it was on the Pivot, it was on an Instagram page that they posted. So it was maybe like a 30, 45 second clip that they posted. At most, right? That they posted.
From basically almost an hour long podcast.
And so it was this, basically, like I said, 45, 30 second clip that they posted, and people just kind of went crazy over that. And it wasn't just to go crazy. It was the fact that it was this snippet. In this world, we have said, you can say 2 sentences and I know everything about you. You can say one thing and I know your character. I know where you come from. I know the type of person you are, whether you trash or not. And that's pretty much what I feel like will happen with it.
And that just drives home that there's no limit, right? And that's the dangers of social media, right?
Right. And so for me, this is also triggering. It's not just triggering because I'm like, man, y'all, this is sad. Whether we feel like, and so it's triggering for me kind of twofold, because one, yes, it's bothersome that this happened, and I feel like we kind of judging people and going ham on their character off of that. They did. But then for me, it's triggering because I remember early in my career, it absolutely happened to me.
Yeah.
It absolutely happened where I did an interview. It happened twice. Literally did an interview, and it was one thing. One of them, I didn't even say anything. Okay, so how about imagine not saying anything, and then what seems like the world is coming for you, and you're like, oh, so I'm trash now. I'm not deserving of.
You got to.
No, I don't feel like it. I'm not.
When?
Reason why I say I'm not. When I say I'm terrified of that. What if it happens again? Don't.
Trauma.
I'm just saying it is a real thing of dealing with it being triggered and dealing with trauma from being like, yo, I didn't even say that. First of all. Second, I didn't say anything. And then even if I did, does that mean that I'm trash? Anyway, so look, we can go ahead and move on. But so what we talk.
Look, it's amazing how folks get, how opinionated folks get about happily married or happy couples. Yeah. Right? That's one of my gripes about this whole thing too, right? It's like, here's this happy young couple, no problems. Yeah. He ain't did nothing wrong. She ain't did nothing wrong. There's no issues. No shape, form, or fashion. Yeah. They grab 2 sound bites, and now run, girl, run. And the reason that it's a gripe for me is because on that flip side, we got all of these toxic relationships that are out here, and everybody tunes into it.
Yeah, and nobody's saying it's not my business to really say anything. That's not.
And because you don't say anything, you're actually co-signing to those relationships. True. And that's my biggest issue with all of that. That's one of my biggest issues with all of that. All right. So, again, in this podcast, there's basically 3 sound bites.
There's 3.
3 sound bites.
Hit them up 3, 1, 2, 3.
And we gonna unpack. We're gonna try to unpack them, but go ahead, baby.
And I was gonna say, let me say real quick, it was the first section of when he talked. It was 6 minutes. 6 minutes where he talked about his relationship. The 6 minutes where they took that 45 second. I'm keeping it at 45. 45-second sound bite. Okay, in a 54-minute interview. Okay. There's so much more in that interview than just that. But let's go ahead and hit him with the first one. What's the first one, babe?
The name, right? He didn't know her name.
He said, I didn't know who she was.
Yeah, he didn't know who she was.
And so for me, what's so interesting with that is that there was an interview where even Simone Biles herself said, not everyone in the world knows who I am.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Is it possible? So my question is, the whole time, I want to preface all of this. I want to start it off
with a question.
All of them by saying, could it be, that's the question, could it be that maybe he didn't know who she was?
Let's reconsider our angle towards this approach.
Okay, because what I want to do is, right now, all I can do is take him at face value for what he said. And honestly, that's all we can do. We can't read behind. We don't know this man. We don't know this man. And then let me jump to this part real quick. People have been going so hard that Simone Biles even tweeted herself. It was a video. She was like, y'all done yet? Like, can y'all get up off my man? Y'all going so hard that she's like, hey, excuse me, we're just trying to be happy over here. So yeah, like I said, so she even said that. Then him not knowing her, him not knowing who I am doesn't change who I am.
That's
Do y'all
the
get
big
that
thing.
part? Him not knowing who Simone Biles is doesn't change that she is her.
The problem though
she is her.
She her. She is
don't
her.
change. It doesn't change.
She her. You know how you be like, I'm him, she her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But like the problem though is the reason that could it be that people have a problem with that because we put so much, today's society puts so much onus on the number of subscribers we have, the number of followers we have, the number of likes that we get per picture. Could that be why that was an issue?
I think that could be, but I think the reason why it doesn't matter is she's still her.
It didn't change the fact that
still has her millions of exactly
ever. She is the GOAT. Like we throw out that GOAT word a lot, but she's legitimately the GOAT. She has moves named after her. Right. So like there's a part in the podcast where like he asked her like who's her greatest competition. She was like myself.
And he was like, nah, for real. Like, cause think about it. To the typical person, even a typical athlete,
you can name some people.
You absolutely off the top of your head, somebody comes up and you're like, this person, that person. So he was like, no, but for real though.
And she was like, nah, sport.
Exactly. And she was like, nah, it's me. Yeah. And he said he then began to realize it's just her. She is her. Right.
And so like let's also I want to also like kind of explain like where he was in his life because both of us were collegiate athletes.
Well, see, I was going to talk about that. Okay,
go ahead,
but there's a part before that where it's 2012 tweet.
Yeah, man.
So when he said, so some of you were so upset in saying that, and let me say, some people were. It wasn't just necessarily you. Okay, could it be? No, but no. What he was saying that like I didn't really keep up with gymnastics. I didn't know who she was, and so people were like, "There's no way that this could be." So they went back to 2012 to one of his tweets where I think he was talking about. He said gymnastics, where he's like, "I'm just waiting on somebody to fall or something like that." Yeah. I think in 2012 they said this man was in high school. He was maybe
17 years old.
He was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
And so for me, how I read that is. Yeah, he was watching gymnastics. He was watching the Olympics. And that obviously, gymnastics is one of the sports that we watch. But as a kid, Gabby Douglas, killing it. Yeah. You're going to know about Gabby Douglas. Yeah. He's watching, he's in high school, yes. So for him, he watched it. He watched it in high school. So you said if he watched it then, he had to have followed it for the rest of his life. Yeah. There's no way that he's never not watched gymnastics from then on.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can hang our hat on that one, y'all. I don't know if we could say because he tweeted in 2012, now in 2020, when they met?
Yeah, they met in 2020. Yeah.
That now he does also know about Simone Biles. He been dialed in. I don't even know if I'm driving this home properly.
I mean, even on your favorite most liked gymnastics video, could you name that gymnastics athlete?
That's true.
Right? There's actually a study that basically says that people recognize faces before they recognize names, and vice versa. Like, and so like oftentimes like I could see a name. Like I go through my phone book. I see a name and I'm like, I don't remember that person. But then when I see their face, be like, what's their name? Like it's so those are issues. Yeah. But like let's unpack this from a perspective of a college athlete.
I was about to say where he said he was at the time.
Because in 2016 he was a collegiate athlete. He was a football player.
Yes.
And so if anybody knows anything about football, like college football, and if you don't, I'm gonna talk about it right fast. In college football, July through August is like that's the most dialed in that they are. They are. And so I looked at a typical schedule of a college football athlete just for training, right? So at 5 to 6, they're waking up and they're eating breakfast, right? From like 6 to like 6:30, they are looking at film.
No, I think it said like 6 to 7:30. Yeah, I remember it was like an hour and a half.
6 to 7:30, right? So that basically he's doing all right. Then from 7:30 to like maybe like 9 or 11, they're practicing or they're in the weight room. And then from there they're doing some studying because football players they take summer school courses, right? Because they want to be eligible for season. Then after like so they're in classes from like maybe 11 to 2 to like 2:30 to like 2:30 to almost like 5, they are practicing again. Then from there, they gotta get taped.
I was about to say they had to get treatment.
They gotta get taped. They gotta get treatment. Then they go to practice. Then after practice, they gotta go. They gotta go eat.
And they said at eating, and then they also had tutoring in there.
Yeah, so literally, I didn't get home till like 9:30.
It was from 5 or 6 in the morning till 9:30 at night. Literally every minute, every second of their day was accounted for. And so what we're saying is he said that he was in camp and he was like, they didn't have NBC, they didn't have the Olympic channel. He was like, none of that was going on. He was like, he was deep in the grind. For sure. He was like, so I didn't see her win. I didn't see anything basically regarding the Olympics. We can say it's impossible, but if we're taking him at face value, I'm just saying that's what he said.
Look,
I wasn't there with him.
Look, you went to UCLA, right?
Were you?
He went to a Division II school in Missouri. I remember my freshman year at Hampton, right? I had a TV, but the cable wasn't connected. I didn't watch what we was doing on TV was playing Smash Brothers. That's the only reason the TV was being used. Yeah. Right. So whatever else was going on in the world, we was clueless, oblivious to it. You know what I mean?
And I think the one of the issues with that is because people are wondering, could it be he's an athlete and how do you not know about another athlete? I think that's that's a big thing also. Yeah. It's not just that. It's like, oh, he's a person that's, kind of at school and just kind of doing,
right? He should
you're
be
an
dialed
athlete,
in
you should be dialed
sports.
in. And I'm like, during that period of time. So then it was like, we even have like a friend, we know we have friends that are lawyers, but we have friends that I remember there was a huge chunk when they were studying for the bar.
Yeah, like they just shut down. They shut themselves. They locked themselves in the basement. They cut themselves off from the world and just studied. They dialed in.
I remember in particular one friend I called them and was like, "Hey, legit, like let's go get something to eat." And she's like, "I have not left my basement." She said basically she had almost moved back home and she stayed at her parents' basement so they could like cook meals, clean, do all the things. All she had to do was study, wake up, eat, and study. That was all she wanted to do.
That's consistent with like most almost like all people that are taking a professional test, whether it be the MCAT, the PCAT, the LSAT, or the bar. Consumed. Like, so the bar is after all of this stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so like their life is consumed for this period of time. You know what I mean? And like one thing we didn't say was like you said in athletics, like we're all in our own collective bubbles, right? So like Dawn is in an individual sport. Yep. They're in their own bubble, especially around season, right?
Well, I think about, for me, it just takes me straight up back to when I was going for my first Olympics. When I was going my first Olympics, there were so many times where I felt like I would raise my head up and come above water and be like, oh, it's the world. What's up, world? How y'all doing?
You don't even know holidays. Remember that? You'd be like, Lonzo, why you get to come in town here? It's Martin Luther King birthday.
So once we were finally together, like I remember talking with him and say, most days if he's going to work, we have our conversation, we do a good morning, but then that's it. And it would be a time we be talking at like 9, 10 o'clock in the day. And I'm like, what you doing? And I'm like, how you still on the phone? He was like, don't, it's Martin Luther King. I'm like, what? I got practice today. So holidays, I did not I forgot them.
Everything was wrapped around your training.
Everything was wrapped around training.
Yeah.
Your life and your world is consumed by training. I'm just saying, if we take this man for face value and what he said, there is a such thing as being in the grind and someone else dictating your schedule so much that the world kind of doesn't exist to you.
Could it be that for an NFL player or someone striving to be in the NFL, that the Olympics is not that big of a deal to him as it is to other athletes?
It could be.
Right?
It could be.
Because the big three, the big US three, the NFL, the NBA, and the MLB, like the Olympics, the Olympics don't make or break their careers.
It doesn't.
But for those individual sports like swimming, track and field, I was going to say the Olympics, swimming, track and field, wrestling, gymnastics. Mm-hmm. It
can define your career.
It
can define your career. Absolutely.
It propelled your career.
It did. No, absolutely. That's why I was on the grind. My first one, like, this gotta work. Because if it doesn't, when I tell you, it will feel like my world is over if this Olympics does not work. Because I'm already working 3 jobs to try and. So listen, I got 3 jobs: training, weight room, physical therapy. Man, I got 3 jobs in training. Yeah. That's all that matters right now. Family calling, I'm like, why are you bothering me? This is just too much to try and hold a conversation. The mental capacity that I have is towards this goal.
That's it.
You know? And so the next one is, so that was 1.
All right.
So it was like, how do you not know who she is? 2.
Soundbite 2, the catch.
Dude said, how did you pull Simone Biles? He said, how did you pull her? And then he's kind of telling the story. He's like, well, actually, she pulled me. And then he was like, wait, so you saying you the catch in relationship? And he goes, Jonathan Owens says, he was like, I mean, yeah, I'm the catch. I always say men are the catch. Y'all caught fire.
Like, oh my God.
They said, God. Who did it? Who did it and why? Like,
what'd you say? Clutch my pearls.
Clutch my pearls.
Yeah.
Y'all, listen. And I'm saying y'all because I'm talking to the ones, like, if it wasn't you, I ain't talking to you. So let's stop. We ain't got no beef.
I always say as a teacher, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Okay. You and this foot that you just put up. Listen. Okay, you had the first question, but I'm going to just go ahead and ask mine.
Go ahead and do it.
So.
Because I want you to talk most in this section before I dive in.
So, okay, when he said men are the catch, I'm talking about the comments went in. It's like 1,000 comments. Y'all went in. And my question, seriously, without like, we being goofy, I'm serious. Was the issue what you heard as in, because he said men are the catch. Could it be?
Yeah.
That all he was saying was, I have value as well? Could it be that, is it that when you heard him say men are the catch, that women are not, that women are trash? Like, that's my question. When he said men are the catch, did you hear men are the catch and women are trash? Like, that's what I want to know. Did you hear that? Because I don't get, when I dated anyone that I've dated, when I saw them, I absolutely was assuming they were a catch. I did not approach you thinking that, I mean, he all right, but like, I'm the catch and he'll learn that. No, I assumed that 2 catches were getting together. So my question is for people that made the comment of how you gonna say men are the catch, because I really do want to understand your perspective, because I don't. What did you hear when he said that? What did that sentence mean to you?
So my questions are a little bit more harsh. But like, think about this for me, right? How many of us know of people or women that went to college to find a husband?
I know people. It was not me. I know people.
Right? How often do we see on TV those people or women sitting on that, mostly women, not all the time women sitting on that front row. I know I'm like I'm glitching, right?
I know because we were like, they gonna come for us.
I'm like, I'm tiptoeing in my Jordans in this, but it's like, but like sitting on the front row, trying to be seen.
I know what you're trying to say.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
Right? It's like we not going to WNBA games like to you know what I mean?
No, but absolutely. Like, so what it is I told him like when he made the comment saying men are the catch, I was telling Lonzo, I said, well, the reason why I'm seeing in the response that so many women are upset is because it's the saying is that women are the catch. Like, you caught a good one, women are the catch. And so I was like, it's mind blowing to think that a guy would kind of disregard the amazingness and the purpose of a woman by saying he's the catch. That's what I feel like you guys are saying. But I'm like, I don't get that. I'm trying to see it from you guys' perspective. So what he's saying is, well, you don't think they're a catch when you're dressing up and you're saying, I'm going to go find a man today.
Right.
I'm going to find a man tonight.
Out and all of these things.
Exactly, like, all these things. Yeah. So, like I said, I for sure can vividly think of like 5 women off the top of my dome right now in college where they were like, I'm getting that dude right there, that football player, because he's going to the NFL.
I remember talking to people in college.
Girls getting cheated on, and they were like, whatever, because he's going to the league.
That part.
So what we're saying is they're like, he's a catch. Now, that's not the catch that I want, but he's saying that there was some value with men, in men.
Listen, so I wrote something down, because again, like, here's why I think it's important, like Dawn said, could it be that he sees himself as a catch too?
Yeah.
Right?
Also.
You know? Because and here's why I think that's important, that we all think that we're catches, right? Because if I don't think I'm a catch, I think that he or she is doing me a favor by hooking up, giving me a chance, right? I don't think that I deserve love from this person if I don't think I'm a catch, right? And because of that, whenever we show up places or separate, like going separate places, whether she traveling to go out of town or he travels to go out of town, his ego is going to be challenged.
Yep.
Right? And so I'm gonna get upset if my name ain't mentioned. Like she ain't say my name. She ain't say hi to me. She didn't message me or something like that. I'm gonna get upset if my name's misspelled or mispronounced. Or I'm gonna get upset if she gets way too much more attention than I do. Much like, you know what I mean? When we did red carpets and people would be like, all right, step to the side because I want to take a picture of Dawn. It's like, cool, I'm here because of her. I'm here to support her. Right? Because I feel like I'm a catch and I know that she's a catch.
Yes.
Right? And if you don't feel like you're a catch in a relationship, you're gonna allow, like, I would have allowed my insecurities to take feet and run with my emotions, right? And I have a specific instance when we first started dating. I remember when you went off to Daegu, South Korea, right? Again, like, we just started dating. If I wasn't secure in myself, I would have thought that you was lying about telling me you ain't had no signal. You know what I mean? Because I was like, I'm waiting for you to like let me know you landed and this, that, and the third, and I ain't hear nothing for hours, right? And then you told me like, I ain't had no signal, blase this, blase that, and I was like, okay, like I had to like check myself and be like, okay, yeah. And then I would have been mad when you called me from somebody else's phone. Like, what you doing with their phone? What you doing in their room? Why they phone work? Why your phone don't work? Like, you know what I mean?
Never.
And then I would have been sick to hear you having a good time while I'm missing you.
Because I was kicking it. Listen, us athletes was overseas, we was like, we got to kick it together because ain't nothing else to do. We don't understand no TV. We don't understand the people around us. So I'm just going to link arms with somebody else speaking English and you the homie for this whole trip.
But I like when I thought about that part, like, you know what I'm saying? Me potentially being upset because you was having a good time and I was at home by myself. Like I think about like there's like sometimes you see it on social media or you see it in other places or sayings where like the woman don't want the man to be having no good time out by himself and all that stuff. It was like really weird, but
no, yeah. So look, this is another little part that I didn't finish. Okay, when I was saying that he's the catch, right? So let me say this. If you don't think that Simone Biles didn't think her man was a catch, first of all, she sat there, she was playing with her necklace, and she was beaming from ear to ear, smiling hard, right? And I even saw that one comment said she was smiling through her discomfort. It was like she was basically sad, but she had to smile to not be embarrassed. I didn't see that. So
her
explain to me.
Bubbly.
Explain to me. It was sad. Yeah, explain to me how that is the case. But so let me say this. So far I said, we're both catches. She knows she's a catch. She was smiling ear to ear. She even said, one day they won't be saying that you're Simone Biles' husband. They'll be saying that I'm Jonathan Owens' wife.
Right.
So she's saying they won't be really talking about me. She said, baby, you gonna skyrocket. And then they gonna be saying, oh my goodness, Jonathan Owens brought his wife. Do you understand the belief? Do you understand the catch that you have to think that you have to say that your man gonna outshine you when you Simone Biles?
Yeah.
That means that she's seeing this man when he's like, I'm on the grind, I'm trying to get there. And she's like, baby, you are that. You are him. She's telling him you are him. Right.
And he talked about it in the podcast, like how like he recognized what kind of party it was when they went for milk and cookies and like he had to take pictures. Yeah. He was taking pictures for her and he was like, these kids were shaking and trembling. And
right. Like, oh my goodness, it's Simone Biles. But what I'm saying is the confidence that Simone Biles has when she's on the vault, when she on the floor, when she on the beam. If y'all think it just exists in gymnastics, y'all crazy. Yeah. You need to watch that interview because she sat there and look, when he was talking, there was moments where she would get up, she would say something. She was like, "Oh, babe, something. That woman is confident. He even said that during Christmas time, he wanted to buy people a certain gift. And she was like, "Babe, they not getting that gift. And I don't care what you say." Yeah. And he was like, "You right, babe, you right." Listen, this is not a woman that's being run over in her household. This is not a woman that's sitting there like, I mean, he just cute. As the people were saying, light skin with brown eyes, and I'm just happy he chose me. Absolutely not. Simone Biles was like, I am her, and I found a him.
The way that y'all show up on the track and on the mat,
absolutely,
is the way that y'all show up in life.
In life,
that's the only way y'all can be who y'all are.
That's it.
Yeah.
I can't function any other way. I have always said when I go do events, when I go do a red carpet, even though I'm the one that's invited, and they're like, you can have a +1. Just to be honest, Lonzo's with me. I absolutely feel like I'm on his arm. He's not on mine. Yeah. That's not attractive to me.
Sure, I love being your trophy husband.
Anyways, boy, we gonna move on to
so then
the
third
comment.
The third soundbite was the commitment.
He said, okay. So he said, I wasn't ready to commit. Because the guy sits up and he says, okay. So if I'm going to just say it out loud, it's safe to say Jonathan Owens didn't want Simone Biles. Yeah. And he was like, I'm not going to say that. And you heard him tripping over his words. And for me, it was more, he was like, he was like, I'm going to just be honest. He was like, I was afraid to commit. He's basically like, she was ready. She was like, I like you. Yeah. What's up? When you confident, that's what, and she was like, I know what I like and I know what I want. And she was like, I wasn't afraid to go after him. That's why she said she sent the first comment.
And career-wise, this is 2020. Simone she's established herself.
She's established.
You know what I mean? But also in 2020, my man's had got cut 5 times.
Yeah.
He was on practice squad, got released, this, that, and the third. So he's just trying to make a team.
Yeah.
And where he was in his personal life, I could definitely relate because there's a thing like
you said when we first started
dating. When we first started dating, like before we started dating, I didn't think that I was ready to be in a relationship because I didn't think that I was ready to be a husband, right? Because I wasn't secure in my career. Like for me, like I felt like in order to be a suitable husband, I needed to have a strong, I need to be in my career, right? And have all of these things in place. Then I'd be like, okay, now I am husband material, right? And like dude said, like Jonathan said, he was like, you know, life happens.
Yeah, and he was like, I was only third year kind of into, you know what I mean? He was like back and forth kind of in my career. And he's like, I just wasn't really ready to commit. He was like, when he said something, I think along the lines of like, when it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. He was like, he said, God's time is God's timing, right? So I'm like, we really gonna be mad at this man for saying in that moment he wasn't ready to commit. I want a dude to tell me if you ain't ready to commit. I need you to check yourself. I need you to go to your mirror. As hard as that is to hear. Exactly. But I need you to go to your mirror and check yourself if you're not ready to commit.
Hey, but look, we live in a day and age where like a man
you're supposed to just fake it till you make it. Look, man, miss me. Like, we talking about marriage.
There's so many things that men can't do that's red flags. Now, I can't take you to Cheesecake Factory on your first date. I can't take you bowling.
Take me to Cheesecake Factory. I like bowling.
I can't eat bananas.
You can't eat.
I can't eat popsicles.
Somebody said a man can't order dessert. That's soft.
I can't have appetizers or dessert. Like
you can't get dessert. He can't get food. This is hard out there. He can't have no sweets because he's
hard out there for men now. Like, oh, hey, remember? Like there was somebody that said like now he's the woman in the relationship because she slid into his.
Yeah, last night. So let me say this. I didn't know. We found this out last night. I didn't know that it was an issue, that people had an issue with the fact that she had hit him up first, that she dropped into his DMs and said, hey, because Jonathan Owens said, she was like, hey, what's up? And he was just like, I kind of waited for a second. And the lady said, she was like, well, she said, look, the fact that y'all going after men now, she was like, don't be mad that now they want their door open. They want roses. They want flowers. She was like, you turn them into the woman. They could be soft. She was like, you got to carry them. What? So because you said, hey, or told somebody, hey, you kind of cute over there. Now all of a sudden the roles have reversed and I'm the dude and he the woman. I'm supposed to be hard and he going to be soft.
Do y'all
because
remember?
I said, hey first?
Do y'all remember in like high school when it was like you sent your girlfriend over to tell that dude that you interested?
Like me.
Or if
you
had a male friend that was friends with that dude, you told him to say something, right? Because like the reality is like, honestly, I'm so glad that we married.
I know. I am so happy to be out the game.
But the challenge though is like, and he said it, he struggled with analysis by paralysis as an athlete.
He did.
But the other thing was, it's like, I can see and I can find you attractive all day, and we can get seeing each other innuendos and things of that nature. But like rejection is a hell of a drug. You know what I'm saying? And so like, in order to take that next step, I gotta kind of like know for sure. And for them, it was her saying, hey, just saying, hey. That's all she did was say, hey.
She said, hey. She didn't say, yo, I'm Simone Biles, I'll pay for it. She didn't say, look, will you marry me? I'll pay for all this. I got all this money. See, I got followers. You good if you get with me.
But it's like,
I'll take care of you. She just said, hey. And all of a sudden, she has disrespected the fact that she is a woman. She's disrespected any relationship that she will ever have, because now she has overstepped what a woman should be doing. Y'all pull it back. Pull it back.
She masculine. She being alpha now.
She being hard. And this is the other thing I'll say. I feel like I'm jumping ahead. I don't know. I feel like I want to hold that one.
But like, to that same point, it's like, all of us need that little push, that little nudge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That reassurance. You know what I mean? To like, and like we deal with it even now. It's like there's things that you really, really want to do. Yeah. Right? And like, you know that you can do them. You just need that extra person.
So then that takes us into the part that says the blessing, the things that we felt like
there was a lot that blessed me in this interview.
In this 54 minutes, y'all, there were moments where you absolutely gonna learn something. If you take the time to just hear what they're saying. Here we go. Do me a favor. Don't even listen to part of the relationship. Although I know that's why y'all initially tuned in. There were parts outside of that were so deep. If you ever have had a dream that you're like, I want this to work so bad. I don't care about anything else in the world. I want this dream to work. They discussed that. They discussed talking to God and praying for something and it actually happening and realizing like it may not look exactly like you want at first, but if you just stay the course and understand God is like all things in his timing, like they talked about that. Ryan, the host, he gave his perspective on stuff. Jonathan Owens gave his perspective. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead.
What blessed me was how, like, basically she introduced him to therapy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because when they got together, 2020, like, so again, because we lived this.
Yeah.
I remember March 23rd, 2020 is when they announced that the Olympics was being postponed, right? It was our anniversary date.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And it got postponed to 2021, right?
Yeah.
And in 2021, Simone, like, she said she wasn't feeling like herself. Yep. And she pulled out of the Olympics. Yeah. And that was when the world jumped on her, right? But
jumped on her, y'all.
That's also when she really got into therapy, and like they had been dating for probably over a year by then, and it's like he was there the whole time.
So listen, he talks about the influence that she's had on mental health. The fact that he was like, I'm not gonna say she made it popular, but he was like, she made it known like it's okay. Not just to him. He said, because he always thought like, you know, I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying, get going to therapy. Like, what's that about? I don't really know. He said they did premarital counseling. Yes. He said he actually goes to therapy now. She goes by herself, he goes by himself. Then they go together now. He talks about like, yo, you can really like Crystal. Exactly. The fact that like the influence that she has. So he screams from the mountaintops how dope and amazing she is. Then there's the moment when I had to write it down in minute 38, where I feel like if you go to minute 38, you will see him/them different is what I put. And it's because he talks about a moment when they're laying down in bed and it talks about how he trusts her opinion and understands her value so much. He says, maybe if any other woman would have said this to me.
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, he's like, maybe if any other woman would have said this. He said, I might be like, she don't know what she's talking about. He's like, because of who she is, he said basically he's watching some film and she said eventually she made a comment of like, yeah, babe, you looking kind of slow. You looking slow. You looking sluggish. He said first he was like, wait, what? He said, but then he realized his coaches had even been saying this to him. And she said, I have been noticing this for a while, but I didn't really say, how about, what relationship have you been in? Well, we've all been in. If you cared about this person and you noticing something, you're like, how do I say this to them? Yeah. Like, will they take it the right way, knowing that it's coming from the heart? They had an intimate moment in their bed where she's like, babe, something's up. Yeah. Like you're not looking like yourself. I know you. I know that you dope. So it's not coming across, something's up. And so he said he goes to therapy and they talked about it was paralysis by analysis. He was saying like mentally, he's an overthinker. He saw what he was supposed to do, but he was like. He was thinking about it. So he said for him, that moment laying in bed, he said for him was the moment where he realized like, something's up and I need to like address this. I need to figure out what's going on. Yeah. Do you know how game changing that is? Like he said for him, that was a game changer. He said one day I'm going to write a book and I'm going to go back to this moment of like, this was the change. He said the life altering, you know what I'm saying? Like comment to me.
Cause he went from, in that moment, around that moment, he went from undrafted to like starter.
Yes. To
you know
starter.
So like Simone said, like now, like she was like 4 years from now, I'll be Jonathan Owens' wife. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, again, like what the other thing that blessed me about it is the fact that like as an athlete, I'm a track athlete, or I'm a track coach now, but the struggles that we have are the same struggles that other athletes have, are the same struggles that we have in the world in our careers.
I was just about to say, in our careers.
I mean? Where we overthink, we want it so bad that we overthink it so much that we don't do anything at all.
Anything. Because it's like, if I, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if, like he said, what if I get cut? What if I get cut? Well, he did, but he kept grinding. And now this is where he is, you know? And
he put himself all the way out there.
He put himself all the way out there.
He was like, he said, like the best thing for him was to get cut. Right. And he went to that tryout and he played it safe. How many of us play it safe all the time and it doesn't work out? And so he said his next tryout, he gonna kill it.
I'm going all
He packed all his stuff up.
He said, because I ain't coming back.
He said he ain't coming back.
I ain't coming back.
And
you know,
here we are.
And so for me, I feel like that just talked about like I said, the grind, believing, and talking to God about your desires for your dream. Like that was something that was addressed as well. I feel like it was just so many things. Like I literally got choked up in some part. And so another question that I have, and I feel like this is where we're ending it, is this is to all of us. To men, talking to the homie. To us girls, we talking to your friend, your bestie. So right now, Simone, she's like sis, she cousin. And I'm assuming that the comments that we've made in the comments that you guys made in the comment section that were just like, he's this, he whack, how dare he, it was because you're being protective of Simone. Yeah. And so I'm assuming that this is all out of love. Like, even though it came across real like sideways, I'm assuming it's out of love. But my question to you is, what friend, what bestie, what cousin Simone, who can you talk to in that manner and they listen to you?
With that energy.
Who can you say, yo man trash, hey man, your girl that you talk to, she whack, she this, she that, girl, he ain't, he believing you, he blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, we not listening.
We shutting down. We not hearing anything that you said. And so for me, people took a snippet, but this is also what we do in life, right? Yeah. We come hard at somebody and then be like, I don't understand. I was just trying to tell them.
And here's here's the interesting thing about it though. Like, as adults, right? That have no following or a huge following, we have people that respect us. Yeah. And so what I do anytime that I see something that could be like questionable, we often run to the comments,
absolutely.
Right? To get an understanding, to shape our mindset. I ran to the source. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Because oftentimes I mess things up when I don't know context. So it's important for me to get context, full context of what it was that we saw, so that we could give a sound, draw a sound conclusion about it, a sound opinion. Because like what I really try hard to do is not to borrow offenses, right? I don't want to be mad at you because she mad at you. I want to understand what happened.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that.
And they said that all the time at my church, right? Like borrowed offenses, because I ain't do it. They didn't do it to me.
They didn't do it to me.
So I need to understand what's going on.
And so my biggest thing right there is, like you said, they didn't do it to me. He didn't do it to Simone. apparently Simone, doesn't feel like he offended her because she was cheesing, y'all. Like, you gotta watch it. Then I said, listen to the tweet also. She said, y'all done yet? Then they even did an interview, I don't remember who it was with, where they asked him, like, how do you feel about the world kind of coming at you like this? And he was like, it's not bothering me. He's like, that's not what our relationship is. That's not what it is. So for me, I'm just saying, if we could go and watch the whole 54-minute interview.
Do yourself a favor.
Hit up in them comment sections and tell me if your perspective is still the same. Answer the 3 questions that we had about, these are the 3 things he said. Do you feel like our perspective, could our perspective be?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's just more conversation that we need to have kind of about this. This is so much of this, I feel like, mirrors
our relationship,
right? Just kind of from outside kind of opinions.
Because we had people that commented
Absolutely.
on like, but oh my, you want to talk, like, somebody was like, they was in our bed like, hey, during season, she don't need to be having no sex. And I was
first of all, the person even said, we not even that cool. Like, not even to give that type of advice, I guess that was supposed to be. But just all the things, like, people just, like I said, they feel entitled.
You gonna mess up her career.
To make these comments, to ask you things. Yeah. It's just sometimes, y'all, we just go too far, just too aggressive.
I'm interested to know in the comments how many of us actually watched the whole. Ooh,
that's a
podcast.
real good one. Please.
Let me know.
Please.
Just leave a hand up emoji if you watched the whole podcast.
Yeah. So I just say all that to say, you just had real talk with the real Nelsons. Hit that like, comment, and subscribe button.
Peace.